In today's video, we're going to be creating the tablet layout for our restaurant website. Let's just go through each one of them. This is the home page. Then we have the menu page. This is what it looks like. I'm not going to go through all of them. There's no need to do that. This is the About Us page. Let's look at the pages in the design tab so it's easier to see. So this is what our tablet layout looks like, and yeah, let's get started. For this part of our project, we're going to need a style guide for the tablet layout. So this are the text style guide we're going to use. For the colors, we're going to use exactly the same colors we used in the desktop. We're going to use same colors across all layouts. So this is the, let me click out. You see that we have restaurant desktop, this restaurant desktop. I just changed to restaurant tablet. So what if you see restaurant desktop heading, it will be restaurant tablet heading. If you see restaurant desktop subheading, it will be restaurant tablet subheading. That's how we're going to change the text styles. I'm going to just go through them one by one so you can see it, and whenever I click on each one, you can either pause the video or if you don't get the actual settings, just check the description box below. It's also going to be there. So I'm going to start with this. Let's check this. The font is Cinzel, width is regular, size is 52, line height is 58, and the letter spacing is minus 0.25 px. Next up is restaurant tablet subheading. The font is Cinzel, width is regular, size is 44, and the line height is 60 with letter spacing of 0. Restaurant tablet card, the font is Cinzel, width is regular, size is 58, the line height is 68, and the letter spacing is minus 0.25 px. Let me zoom in so we can see this one. This is restaurant tablet label. The font is Meriwether, and the weight is regular, size is 12, the line height is 20, the letter spacing is 0.5 px. The restaurant tablet card heading, the font is Cinzel, weight is regular, size is 22, line height is 30, letter spacing is 0. For the logo, no changes there. We're not going to save it again. We are using the same logo settings across all layouts. Next is restaurant tablet header. The font is Cinzel, the weight is regular, size is 14, the line height is 22, and the letter spacing is 0 px. Next, restaurant tablet hero body. The font is Meriwether, weight is regular, size is 18, line height is 30, and the letter spacing is 0 px. Next is restaurant tablet button. The font is Cinzel, weight is regular, size 14, line height is 22, the letter spacing is 0 px. We have the restaurant tablet body. Font is Meriwether, weight is regular, size is 16, the line height is 32, and the letter spacing is 0.5 px. Next is restaurant tablet footer heading. The font is Cinzel, weight is regular, size is 16, line height is 24, letter spacing is 0.5 px. And finally, we have the restaurant tablet footer body, which is the font is Meriwether, weight is regular, size is 13, line height is 24, and the letter spacing is 0.5 px. Once again, all of these settings will be in the description box below. So if you missed anyone, you can just check it out. So as we did before, just go ahead and save all of these text styles in this naming convention, and then we can now start creating our tablet layout. Okay, I've saved all the text styles for the tablet layout. I'm just going to zoom out, and before we even get started, what I'm going to do is select all the layouts for tablets, and I'm going to go to the fill for all of them, and I'm going to use background so we don't have to think about changing the background every single time. There's no need to change color since we're going to be using elements from this one. I'm going to move this out of the way, which is just the tablet style guide, and I'm going to create a copy of this. Use a copy since we may modify things before we copy. And I'm going to zoom in so that we can start. I'm going to select this entire section and delete it. Let's start with the the header. I'm going to create a copy and bring it into this layout. I'm going to get really close so I can make sure I have it on the edge of the layout guide, and I'm going to reduce it like this. Next, so while this is selected, I'm going to click on enter so I can select the elements in it. Then select this frame, enter, and then enter another time so we can see the typography of the text here. Now go over to typography, and this is restaurant desktop header, so we're going to make a restaurant tablet header, and this is, so it didn't change because we are using exactly the same settings. It's good practice to just use different in case you want to change. Let me say you decide that you want it larger or smaller. If you change the settings in the tablet, it's not going to affect any other layout, just those in the tablet. I'm going to zoom out and we can now move on to this image. I'm going to grab a copy of this image. I'm just going to move this up a bit, and I'm going to reduce it so it fits on our layout, the entire width of our frame. Next up is the text, and I'm going to just bring in a copy. I'm using copies because I like to reference the original while I design the other layout, so I know where most things are. I'm just going to reduce the width of this so that it fits on the entire length of our frame. And I'm going to go ahead and just change some settings. Let's start with the gap. I'm going to make the gap 15. The padding on left and right is going to be 270, and the top and bottom padding is going to be 25. Next, let's change the font, the typography of the text. I'm going to select this one. This is going to be tablet heading, so restaurant tablet heading. Change that, select this one. This is going to be restaurant tablet hero body. Change that. Now select the buttons. I'm going to click on enter again so that we can change the button, the typography for the buttons, and this is going to be restaurant tablet button, and this is what we have for now. So let's now do the spacing so that I can align this properly. I'm going to select this header section, and the spacing from the top of the frame to the top of the header should be 30. Next, select the header and then this image, change the spacing to 30. Now I'm just going to move this so that it's on the center of this image here, and that's essentially our hero section. We could actually look at this in the prototype view as we redesign rather. So I'm going to go to prototype, and under prototype I'm going to show prototype settings, and I'm going to select the device we're using, which is, I'm going to scroll down, the Android expanded. Click on that, and I'm going to just run the prototype. So give this a moment. So we have our prototype. I'm just going to set this, okay, fixed size. I'm just going to skip between the web pages till I get to this one. So that the way I know it's this one, you can see that we haven't done this section yet. So this is the hero section for our tablet layout. You can go back to our design tab to move on to the next one. I'm just going to return back to the design tab. I'm going to select this and just delete. Now let's grab a copy of this and bring it into this page. Now I'm just going to, we're going to match what we have here, so we'll just skip the first column and reduce this. I just want to make sure it's exactly where I want it. Okay, now let's start with the text. This one on top, we're going to change it to restaurant tablet subheading, and this one is going to be restaurant tablet body. Now select the frame, this one here, change the gap to 40, and we're going to reduce the width so that it's aligned to this column, so the text rests on 4 columns. Finally, let's zoom out, select the entire frame and change the gap to 117, and you should have your image aligned here. And yeah, that's it for this section. We can just quickly take a look at it in the prototype view. Yeah, this is the introductory or introduction section. Next is going to be this section, so I'm just going to select all of this and delete, and I'm going to grab a copy of this and bring it into this frame. I'm going to align it to the edge of our layout guide, and then I'm going to reduce it so it's on the edge of this other one. I'm going to start with this text. I'm going to change this, it's currently restaurant desktop subheading, so it's going to be restaurant tablet subheading. Next up, I'm going to select this frame that has these 3 items. Click on enter to select each individual frame. Enter again so that we can select the text. And now we have the typography. We can just go ahead and change it to restaurant tablet body. Finally, this one, I'm going to change the typography of the button to restaurant tablet button. Now select the entire section and change the gap to 15, and then select this center middle frame here. Click on enter so you can select all 3 at once, and then change the gap to 15 as well. And that's it. We can just take a moment to look at it. This is what the menu highlights section of our tablet homepage looks like. Let's now move on to the next section. I'm going to just select all of this and delete. I'm going to grab a copy of this section and bring it in. This time we're dealing with a group, so it's not going to be so easy to resize it, but no worries, we're still going to do that. I'm going to start with this text on top. We're going to change it, the typography, to restaurant tablet subheading. Next is this image. I'm just going to reduce it so it's on the edge, just the image. So I selected the group, double click so you're selecting just the image, and I'm going to reduce the size of the image so that it's at the edge of the last column. Now let's work on this frame. I'm going to move it so that it's on the edge of the second to the last column, and then I'm going to reduce the width of this so it's on the edge, so it's on 4 columns just like it is on this one. Now the text didn't move because, or the text didn't change dimensions because they are not set to fill container. We're going to fix that right now. So while the frame is selected, let's change the dimensions a bit. The width is currently 346 because it's on 4 columns, and then we're going to change the height to 540. Next, gap, we're going to change the gap to 37 padding on the left and right is 18, and the padding on the top and bottom is also 37. I'm just going to, this frame is already selected. I'm going to click on enter so that I can select the text. So now we have typography, and we can go ahead and just change the typography to restaurant tablet body. And then finally, I'm just going to I want to select just the text. So I'm going to select the 3 texts in this frame. Now we can go to width and make all of them fill container. Finally, double click on this line, and I'm going to hold Alt and Shift so that the line won't rotate, and we're reducing the length of the line from both ends. And I'm going to reduce this till it's on the edge of the text, and the width should be 310. I'm just going to zoom out, and you'll see that this side also reduced because we're using Alt. So I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to hold Alt and Shift so we're reducing both ends, and our line isn't going to move. And that's it. I'm just going to select this frame and then bring it down so it's touching the bottom of this image. Next up is this section. I'm just going to select the text, change it to this restaurant desktop body. So this is going to be restaurant tablet body, and we're going to change the typography for the button, which is restaurant tablet button. The spacing for these 2 items remains 20. Let's go back to the top and then fix the spacing. Select the text and then this group, so the group that has this image and then this frame. Spacing is going to be 15, and then select the group and then this frame. Spacing is 15, and just to make sure, this is supposed to be centered on this frame, so I'm going to select this one and I'm going to move it so it's going to be aligned to this one above it. And yeah, hopefully we haven't missed anything. I'm just going to look at it in the prototype view, give this a moment, and this is the upcoming events and special offers section in the tablet layout. Next is going to be this section, so I'm going to select all of this and delete. I'm going to grab a copy of this and then bring it into this frame. We're going to use the edge of this rectangle as a guide to align this to the edge. Let's start with this text. Select the text, change the typography to restaurant tablet subheading, and then select this group and then select the frame inside that group. I'm going to just click on enter so that I can select the text, so I can change the typography of both texts at the same time. So I just clicked on enter and enter again, and I'm going to change the typography to restaurant tablet body. And now I'm going to just select the frame and reduce the width. The width of this text didn't change because of the settings, so I'm just going to click on this one, and under width I'm going to make it fill container. The height of this frame should be 210. No, 210. Next, let's change the gap to 30. The padding on the left and right is 23, and the padding on the top and bottom is 20. Finally, let's select this and this. I'm going to change the size to 120 and line spacing to 130, and I'm going to move it just a little bit so that it's on the edge here. So we have one just inside the frame and one outside. Let's go to the next one. I'm going to bring this in, align it to the bottom till you have this, and we are done with this first one. For this second one, just move it so that it's aligned, but once again use this line as a guide to put it on the edge of that column there. I'm going to double click so I can select the frame, reduce the width so it's on 4 column, and since we've already reduced this one, I can just reduce it and use it as a guide to reduce the height to 210. I'm going to click on enter twice on the frame so I can select the text, and I'm going to change the typography to restaurant tablet body. Now I'm going to select this text and make it fill container. I'm going to select this frame once again, make the gap 30, padding on the left and right 23, and the padding on the top and bottom 20. Finally, let's select this two, and I'm going to make the size 120, line height 130, and I'm just going to move this in, and I'm also going to select this and bring it into the frame like this, so at the bottom of this is aligned with that line. Finally, we have this one. I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to use the line as a guide to align to the edge, and I'm going to select the frame, click on enter again so that we can change the typography. I'm going to select this and change it to restaurant tablet body. I'm going to select the frame, reduce the width, and also reduce the height using this one as a guide. I'm going to select this text, and I'm going to change the width to fill container. Select the frame, change the gap to 30, padding on the left and right 23, padding on the top and bottom 20. Select these two, and I'm going to make the size 120, line height 130, and I'm going to move this one just a little bit like this, and then finally for this one I'm going to move it like this. The final detail will be the spacing, so I'm just going to move that. I'm going to just align it to at least one of them, and we have a spacing of 15. Let's just quickly look at it in the prototype view, and I'm going to give this a moment. And yeah, this is the guest reviews section for our tablet layout. Next up is this section, so I'm just going to select and delete, grab this one and bring it into the frame. I'm going to align it to the edge here, and then also reduce the width so it fits on the edge of the frame. Let's go back here. I'm going to start with this text, change the typography to restaurant tablet subheading. Next is this one, change it to restaurant tablet body, and then I'm going to select this frame, click on enter twice so we can select just the text, and I'm going to change it to restaurant tablet button. I'm going to select this entire frame, change the gap to 15, and then we are going to reduce the width so that it's on 5 columns just like it is here, and I'm just going to reduce it so it's on 5 columns like this. Finally, I'm going to change the gap of the entire frame to 105. Yeah, that's it for this one. Let's see what it looks like in the prototype. Yeah, this is the visit us section. Let's go back to design and work on the final parts. For this final part, what I'm going to do is I could just copy and replace. This is going to be very straightforward. I'm going to select the rectangle behind and just reduce the width so that it's going to be on the edge of the frame. Next, I'm going to move this in so that it's on the edge of this layout guide here, and I can just select all of this. Well, this one too also has to be on this edge like that. We're not going to change any other dimensions. I'm going to select these ones and I'm going to go over to alignment and we're going to distribute horizontal spacing. This one we're just going to move so it's aligned to this the one above it. Spacing remains the same at 20. I'm also going to move this so it's on the edge, and then I'm going to reduce this so it's also on the edge of the guide. I was looking at it and the way it responded, that told me that it was not, so I made it slight just by 1 px. I'm just going to do that again. Probably isn't going to change much. Okay, and I'm just going to select this too. Okay, they seem fine. Now we're going to change the text. The logo remains the same. I'm just going to select this one, change typography to restaurant tablet footer body. It's not going to change because the size isn't changing. We are just changing what style what text style we use. This one is going to be the footer heading. Then for this, enter till we have the typography, and we can change that to the body typography. Let's move on to this one. Once again, restaurant tablet heading, footer heading, and then for this one I'm going to click on enter 2 times so we can have the typography, and I'm going to change it to the footer body option. Same with this restaurant tablet footer heading, and I'm going to change this to the body text for the footer section. Change this to the heading text, and this one I can just do all of them. I'm just going to keep pressing on enter till I have all the text selected, and then finally for this one I'm going to do the same. Select the text and then change it to the footer body text. Okay, so now we can, when there's no need looking at it in the prototype view, we can just do our spacing and then we can look at it in the prototype view. Let's start with, since we've spaced this section out, we'll just select this image and all the other sections. I'm just going to go over to spacing and make it 180. For me, I'm going to have to increase the height of my frame, so I'm just going to do that. Okay, so that's it for this one. Let's see what it looks like in the prototype view. Let me scroll up. I don't know if it has, okay, it has actually loaded. So this is the tablet layout for our home page, and we are done with that, and we can move on to the next one. I can just, now that we're done with this, please make sure you are deleting a copy. If you are using the original, take it back to its place, or if you're using a duplicate, you can go ahead and delete it. Now we can now move on to the next one. I'm just going to move this one to the side, and I'm going to grab a copy of the menu, the desktop menu page, and I'm going to bring it here. I'm going to just zoom in and start with this section. Let's select this entire part, and you know what, even here, and I can just delete that. Let's start with the header section. So I'm just going to come over here to the home page layout, and I'm going to come over here and then paste. Next, I'm going to grab our image and bring it into this frame, and I'm going to reduce the width like this. I just want to make sure that it's on both edges, and this is currently at 30, and just like we did with the home page, we're going to reduce the spacing to 30. Next up is this text. I'm just going to grab it and bring it into this frame, align it to the center and as well the middle. Well, we're probably going to align it again. I'm going to select the text, and we are going to change this to restaurant tablet heading. We're going to leave the padding as it is. I'm just going to align it once more. Next is this text and button. Go ahead and bring it into your frame like this. I'm going to select the text and change it to restaurant tablet body text, and I'm going to select the buttons text and also change the text for the button to restaurant tablet button, just like we did. I just want to check the alignment of this is center, so everything is going to be fine. And I'm checking the fill. So for me, the fill of the text is already, the alignment of the text here for the width is set to fill container, so I can just reduce it so that it's on 8 columns, the middle 8 columns, similar to what we have here. And this is what we have. Finally, the gap is going to be 15 for this frame. Let me zoom out, and I'm just going to select this entire thing and delete. Now I'm going to grab this and bring in a copy. I'm going to just align this to the edge, and we're going to work on each one by one. Let's start with this. I'm going to change this to restaurant tablet subheading. We'll align it later, and then I'll now come down to this group. So we have a group that has these 3 items. I'm going to click on enter once more. I'll keep clicking enter till I'll select all the text within these frames. I want to change all of them at once. So the text is restaurant tablet label, restaurant desktop label. So I'm going to change it to restaurant tablet label. This is header. If I'm not mistaken, I just need restaurant tablet label. That's what we're changing it to. Now I'm going to click on escape. I'm going to select the group once more, click on enter once more. So what I want to do is select these frames. So I'm just going to select the frames within the groups, if that makes sense. Just select the frames and you should have these settings. So for the width of these frames, that's the labels, the text on the images, make the width 301, the padding on the left and right 12, and the top and bottom is going to be 18. And I think that's all the settings for now. If I miss anything, I should come back, but for now that's it. So change the width to 301, padding on the left and right 12, padding on the top and bottom 18. Now let's now change our focus to these images. I'm going to start with this first image. Make sure you are selecting just the image. I'm going to start with the first one so that I can use it as a guide for the rest. So reduce it till you have the image on the first 4 columns, just like you have in the desktop layout. And I'm going to just check the alignment. So you see that on one side is 20 and on one side is 26. So I want to align this to the center of the image. So you're going to have, now it's 23 from the left and right, so it's centered, and then I'm just going to move it down till it's 23 from the bottom, like this. So this is what I'm going for this one. We can now use that as a guide to modify this one. So select the image in this second one, just align it to the one on the left, reduce the width. I have to realign it again, just align it, and then use the label of the one on the left to guide you when you place this one. So you see that it makes things much easier. And I'm going to do the same for this one. I'll just bring it here, reduce it so it's the same, it's on 4 columns, make sure it's aligned to the others, and then move the label till it's aligned to the center and also aligned to the middle. In the case where, just in case as we go further, if any one of them has different heights, always will default to aligning the tops, just like we did before. Let's now bring our focus to this bottom group. I'm just going to delete this. We're going to have to increase the height later. Anyway, let me focus on this bottom group. So I'm going to select this group, enter. I'll keep clicking on enter till I select all the text. I'm going to change the text to restaurant tablet label, then click. I'm going to use enter once again because I want to select the frames, and I'm going to change the width to 301. Padding on the left and right is 12, and padding on the top and bottom is 18. Next up, this first image, select the image, and I'm going to reduce the dimensions. I'm going to select this frame and align it to the middle of that image, but I also want it to be 23 from the bottom. I just want to make sure I have the image on 4 columns and also 23 from the edges and 23 from the bottom. I can now use it to guide me for the other images. I'm going to start with this. I'm currently selecting the entire group. I'm going to just select the image. Let me see. I don't know why it's not indicating. So I'm going to reduce the width so that it's like that, and then for this one, same thing. I'm going to align it to the middle of this image as well as align it to this one. Your focus should be on the top. In this situation, okay, it's still 3. If it was 2 lines, we'll still align it to the top of the label. I'm going to select this. Let me move it to the edge, reduce, just to make sure. Move the image so it's aligned to the other one, and then grab its label and then also align it to the middle of the image, and also align it to the label here. Now that we've done all of that, we are now going to change the spacing for the entire group. This one, I need to have it in the center of our frame. Select the entire group, and we should have an option for spacing even in a group, or seems like we don't, so no worries. Click on enter, and we're going to have spacing as an option. I'm going to change the, you know what, that was a mistake. Let's use 15 for text to image. So we're going to use 15 from the text to the images, but what I like to do with images is anytime I use images, I like to have the same spacing in the gutter as well as in between images. It just makes things look more balanced, if that makes sense. So when I have images where the gutter is one size and the space between other images, it happens sometimes, like there's nothing you can do. If you choose a certain design, it may end up looking that way, but to me, it always looks odd when the spacing between images, like from this image, let's say from top and bottom, and then the gutters, let me say the gutter spacing is larger and here is smaller, or here is larger, here is smaller. It tends to rub me the wrong way. But I always try to keep the spacing between images equal. So I already know that the gutter here is 24, so I'm going to use 24 as spacing between images, but I'm going for 15 for the subheading to the images. Let's now move on to the next one. I need more space, so what I'm going to do is increase the height of this frame. I'm just going to bring it down. You can just create a copy of this and bring it into this layout. I'm going to align this group to the edge here. Let's go from top to bottom. Start with the text. We're going to change it to restaurant tablet subheading. I could just align it to the center. Now I'm going to focus on this group. Once again, just click on enter till you have the text highlighted, and we can change the typography. We're going to change that to restaurant tablet label. Now escape, select the group, and I'm going to select this frame and this one. Change the width to 301, padding on the left and right 12, top and bottom 18. Let's focus on this first image, and I'm going to reduce the width so it's on 4 columns, and I'm going to select the frame and align it to the middle of the image, hopefully, and 23 from either side and 23 from the bottom of the image. Select this image, and I'm going to make sure it's on 4 columns. I'm going to align it to this other image, and then select the frame and then center it and also align it. I'm going to move this one. I'm currently selected on the group. Shouldn't do that. Select only the image and then reduce, align, and then also align this one. Let's move on to this one. Once again, just keep clicking enter till you select the text. Change typography to restaurant tablet label. I'm going to select these frames, change the width to 301, padding on left and right 12, top and bottom 18. I'm going to select this first image and reduce it till it's on 4 columns, and I'm going to align this to the center, and I'm also going to have it 23 from the bottom. Then I'm going to move this image and then reduce it, align it, move this label, and this time this text is shorter than this one, so we'll align it to the top here, and I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm currently moving the entire group. I'm going to select just the image and reduce the size of the image and then align it. Then I'm going to align this one also, like this. Finally, for spacing, these two I'll just do 15, and then for these two is going to be 24. Let's now move on to the next one. I think You know what, instead of me doing all of it, I've already done two. You can go ahead and just do the rest. I'm going to stop recording and then do the rest and then come back. Alright, I've done the other two. Hopefully you didn't have any issues doing that. Final detail is going to be this one. I'm going to create a copy and bring it into the frame, and I'm going to select this and change it to restaurant tablet body, and I'm going to select the text in the buttons and change that to the button typography, restaurant tablet button. Next, I'm going to just select this and reduce the width so it's on the middle 8 columns, just like this. Finally is the footer section, so that will be easy. We're just going to copy this one we've already modified from the home page for the tablet layout, and then we're going to replace it here. Now let's go back to the top and then space out the elements in our page. Select the image and this text. We're going to make the spacing 50. I'm going to zoom out. I'm trying to figure out if I need to move some things. I'm going to select all of this, and with the exception of this text, I'm going to make it 180. This was why I was checking. I felt like by the time I space things out, it's going to overlap with this one, but no worries, we can just move it. Spacing from this last section to this one is 15. I don't know if, okay, we're supposed to change the spacing of this one as well. Sorry about that. The gap for this frame is supposed to be 15 also. The gap between these two, which is currently 20, stays the same. And I'm just going to select this section, the footer section, and spacing is going to be 180, and I can just reduce the height of this frame like this. So let's look at it in the prototype view if we can do that. I'm just going to find the right page. So this is it. This is what our tablet's layout looks like. It's skipping. I guess it's not loading properly. But anyway, that's it. Let's go back to our design tab and then move on to the next one. I'm just going to, please make sure you're deleting the duplicates, not the actual original. So I'm just going to delete this one, and I wanted to move it to the right, but you know what, I'll just keep it here for now so that I can change this element, then we can bring in a copy of the next page. So what I need to copy from this one is this header section. So I'm just going to delete the one here. I could also just delete, I'll just delete these items on this top, and I'm going to paste the header section, and then I'm going to copy the footer section, and then I'm going to replace it here. Now I'm just going to zoom out, move this one to this side, and I can start working on the about page. So I'm going to create a copy of this about page and bring it over here. Let's start with the image. So I'm going to select the image and then create a copy and bring it into this frame. I'm going to reduce the width so it fits on the entire length. I'm going to change the dimension so it fits on the entire length of our frame. I'm going to just change the spacing between these two to 30, and then we're going to grab our text and bring it into the frame. Let's change the typography of the font, the text, sorry. I'm going to select it and we're going to change this to tablet subheading. Oh no, restaurant tablet heading. and I'm going to align this to the center as well as the middle of this image. Next up is this text. You know what, I could just go ahead and remove this. Let's grab this text and bring it into our tablet frame. Let's start by changing the typography of the text. I'm going to start with the subheading and I'm going to change it to restaurant tablets subheading, and the text, this is going to be restaurant tablets body text. Okay, and I'm going to also change the gap for this entire frame to 20. Now we're going to reduce the width so it's on just 10 columns. The second to just, we're going to match the same way it is here on this side, and I'm going to, maybe I'll give myself more space. I'm just going to move this out of the way. Let's bring in this section, and straight away I'm just going to align this image to this last column, the end of the last column, and I'm going to reduce this so that it's aligned with this one on the left. Let's now work on the text. I'm going to select this text and I'm going to change this to desktop subheading, tablet subheading, sorry, restaurant tablet subheading. I'm going to select this one, change it to restaurant tablets body. I'm going to select that. Now we're going to, this text is aligned on 5 columns, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to select this particular frame and just make sure it's aligned to 5 columns, and I'm going to select this entire frame and change the gap to 117. Finally, let's change the typography of this text as well as the spacing. So we're going to change typography to restaurant tablet body, and let's select this frame and change the gap to 15. And I believe, have I changed this one? No, it's supposed to be 40. So the gap for this, the frame on the left, is 40. And I'm going to zoom out, and that's it. Let's move on to the next section, which is the philosophy section. I'm just going to zoom in just to make sure. Now what I'm going to do is just reduce this, since it's a responsive auth layout. Let me start from the top. I'm going to select this text and I'm going to change this to restaurant desktop subheading, restaurant tablet subheading, and I'm going to select this one. I'm going to start with this text. You know what, I could just do all of them at once. This is the restaurant tablet card. Then I'm going to do this one. I'm going to change this to, this is restaurant desktop card heading, so this is restaurant tablets. This should be restaurant tablets card heading, and this is restaurant desktop body, so it's going to be restaurant tablet body. And I'm just going to make sure I have the right one and click on that. The gap stays the same between the desktop and tablet layout, so I'm just going to fix the gap. So for this one, it's currently set to 23. In the desktop is supposed to be 25, which means I have an error in my design. So I'm just going to quickly fix this. So if I come back to the original it's 23, it's supposed to be 25. And what that means now for me is the gap has changed. So sorry about that. If I hopefully you caught that and didn't make the same error I did, but I'm just going to, it happens, there's a lot of moving parts, so yeah, just I'm going to increase this by 2. Now back to our tablet layout. So over here, gap is going to be 15, and yeah, gap is 15, and for this the gap between them is 24. What we're going for is the individual cards, so it's going to be 20, or if I can, okay, I can actually just select all of them and do that all at once. So that's it for this section. There's no need, it's a very simple design, there's no need for us to go and check in the prototype. Let's just finish up before we look at that. I'm going to select this, delete, and then grab a copy of this and bring it into our tablet layout. I'm just going to make sure it's on the edge, and I'm going to start with this image. Select the image, reduce it so it fits on the entire layout guide, and I'm going to move this so that we'll have the same effect we have here. So just at the edge of, on the end of the first column to the beginning of this one here, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to reduce it, and my layout is not reactive, but that's okay. We're going to fix it now. I just want to make sure I have the right spacing. I'm just going to select this. We'll change the resizing to, under resizing we're going to change the width to fill container, and then under typography we're going to change this to restaurant tablet subheading, and I'm going to select this text. Once again, under resizing, let's change the width to fill container, and we're going to change the typography to restaurant tablet body, and I'm going to select this entire frame. We're going to leave the left and right padding as it is. I'm going to change the top and bottom to, let's say 20. Let's see how that looks. 20. And now we're going to change the height of this to 585, like this. Let me make it alignment. Let me make the alignment of the contents to center, and that actually looks all right. The spacing, the gap here rather, is going to be 15. And now I'm going to move this. I believe this is centered, yeah, centered to this image, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to move it so it's on the center of this image also. Next is this buttons. I'm going to, so it's on the edge of this column. Okay, I'm going to move it so it's on the edge here, and enter, select the text of the buttons. We're going to change this to restaurant tablet button. The gap between the two buttons remain the same. I'm just going to make sure this is currently 17, spacing is 15, and yeah, that's it for this section. Now let's scroll up and space out the content. Select this image. We've already spacings out just in case. 30 from the top for the header, and in between this image and this header 30, and this is just aligned to the center as well as the middle of this image. So we can just select the image and this item and make the spacing 50. Select this text and all other sections including the footer section, and we're going to make the spacing 180, and I'm just going to select the frame and reduce the height like that. And yeah, that's it for this one. Let's see what it looks like quickly in the prototype view. Let me see. So this is the layout. This is how about us page looks like in the tablet layout. I'm just going to go ahead, delete this, and I'm just going to move this over to the side. And our next page that we're going to work on is the gallery. So I'm just going to bring that over here. First thing we're going to do is, let's start by, I'll just delete all of these elements on the top. Let me go to this page here, copy the header, and I'm going to paste. Next up is this image. I'm going to grab a copy of this and bring it into this layout, and I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to change this, select this to, and change the spacing to 30, and I'm going to come over to the text, grab the text and bring it into this frame. Select the text and change the typography to restaurant tablet heading, and I'm going to align this to the center of our frame as well as the middle of this image. I just noticed it seems okay, I didn't properly resize this image. Let me just check my spacing and also the alignment of this. Alright, now let's grab this text. There was no need to do that anyway. Let me grab this text. I'm going to align it to the center, or I could just resize it. I want to align it to the center before I start resizing. So while this text is selected, just go and change the typography to restaurant tablet body, and I'm going to reduce the width to be on 8 columns, the middle 8 columns. Now I'm going to start on this area. I can just delete this, grab this section and bring it into this frame, and I'm going to move from top to bottom. I'll start with this text. I'm going to change it to restaurant tablet subheading. Select this text, and that's going to be restaurant tablet body. Just going to select that. Let me zoom out so I can just do, I'm just going to get rid of these other sections so I'll have space to work with. Let me bring this back. Next up, I'm going to select this text, go to typography and change it to restaurant tablet body. Now let's resize and then change spacing. I'm going to start with this image just like we had it in the desktop layout. We're going to have this on 5 columns, and I'm going to bring this on starting from the 6th column all the way to the end of the last one. And I'm going to grab this text, align it here, same with this text, and I'm going to align it here. And let me just let me change the size of everything before I start spacing it. Let me reduce the width of this one will go through all columns, and okay, we can leave that for now. Now let's space things out. Spacing from this text to this one, we're going to make it 10, and then just go ahead, select this text, this image, this text, image, as well as this one, make all of them 15, and we can use this as a guide to align this one. And I'm also going to align the text also, and that's it. So this is all within a single group. We're done with that. Let's move on to this one. I'm going to bring this in. I just want to make sure it's on the edge of our layout guide. Let's change the typography of this one to restaurant tablets subheading. Let's do all the text at once. I'm just going to select all of them, and this will be restaurant tablet body. Next up is the images. I'm going to, this one is going to be on 7 columns, this one is going to be on 5, so 7 columns. I'm going to reduce the width. This one, alignment, we'll figure out alignment later. Going to reduce it so it's on 5, and then for this one across all 12 columns. Let me bring this one to this side. Alright, select this two, spacing is 10, and I'm going to select all items on the right, and then spacing is 15. And now I can grab this image, align it to this other one, and then grab the text. Since this text is in 2 lines, that 15 will work for it. So simple. I'm just going to select this tree and then change the spacing. So these two are overlapping, that's why I'm having this. So it's all about working around it. I'm just going to move it 15. I don't know why I did that. Anyways, I'm just going to move it back. Alright, that's it for, I also did the same here. Again, I have no idea why I did that. I'm going to work on the final one, and I'm going to bring this in, starting from top to bottom. Change the typography of this to restaurant tablets subheading. This, I'm going to do the same for this other text, and all of this will be restaurant tablets body. Now let's resize the images, starting with this one. This one is going to be on 7 columns, and the last one, the second one, is going to be on 5. Next, I just want to make sure. Next is this one. It's going to go across all columns. So this time, let me see the length of text. I believe both texts will be on 2 lines, so that should be fine. So select this and this, change the spacing to 10. This, everything on the right, change to 15. And now I'm just going to move this image and then move this text. And okay, we have one final item. I think I'm going to need even more space. We have this text here, and I'm going to bring it into the frame. This, I'm going to align it to this text similar to what we had here. So let me start by changing the typography. I'm going to change it to restaurant tablet body, and enter again. I'm going to change the text to restaurant tablet button, and I'm just going to grab this, and I didn't even have to change the alignment, because as I change the size of the text, it just went into what I would prefer. So for this, I'm going to change the gap here to 15. Finally, we have our footer section. I'm going to copy this one here, and I'm going to paste and then replace. Now let's do the spacing for this. Select this image and this part. Spacing is 50 from there. I'm going to zoom out, select all of this with the exception of this section, make it 180, and I'm going to bring this one down here. This is supposed to be, the spacing between this last section and this one is going to be 15. So I just use my arrow key to move it. 15. This and this is also going to be 180. And let's now reduce the length of the frame. I'm just going to reduce that, and yeah, that's it for the gallery page. Let's look at it in the prototype view. So I'm going to click on this, and it's taking a bit. Okay, so this is the gallery for the tablet layout, and we are done with this page. I can now zoom out, delete, and move this over to the side so that I can start working on the reservations page. Let's get a bit closer. I'm going to select all of this and just delete. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to select this header section from any of our tablet layouts, come back here and then paste. Next up, we're going to grab this image and bring it into this frame. I'm just going to make sure I align it to the edge, and then I'm going to reduce the dimensions, making sure it goes across both edges of my frame. I'm going to select this header section and this image. The spacing is going to be 30, and I'm going to grab the text, bring in a copy, and then let me change the typography before I proceed. I'm going to change this to restaurant tablet subheading, and I'm going to align this text to the center of our frame as well as the middle of that image. I'm going to select this to delete and bring this into the frame. I'm going to just align it to the center. Next up, I'm going to start with this text on top. Go over to typography, change this to restaurant tablet body, and for the button I'm going to do the same, but change it this time to restaurant tablet button. And we're going to reduce the length of this frame to fit within 8 columns, the middle 8 columns. Instead of doing this one by one, I'm just going to delete, with the exception of the footer section, I'm just going to delete all of this, and we can actually bring all of them at once. So let's just do that instead of doing one by one to save ourselves just a little bit of time. So I'm just going to bring this in, and I'm going to try my best to center it. Hopefully I achieved that. I'm going to just align it to the center. I could just use, instead of worrying about it too much, I'll just align to the center. Once the Alt H. Alright, so I'll just do Alt H. I always return it back to left. No reason why. I just don't like when my frames are aligned to the center. I just imagine what, for whatever reason, I want to resize my frame. I don't want it to stay in one place. I don't want it to stay in the middle and be moving along. If that's what I wanted, then I'll set it to that. But typically, I just always leave the alignment of all my elements to the left by default. There's no specific reasons for that. Let's start with this line. So every element within this, the text elements, are all going to be aligned to within the middle 8 columns. The lines are going to be within the middle 10. So we'll just remove the first and last column. So I'm going to select the line, Alt and Shift, so that we can reduce both ends of the line while also keeping it straight. I'm going to do that, and you can see on the other side it has changed. Let's do the same for the next line. I'm going to select Alt and Shift, and then finally the third line, Alt and Shift. I'm going to reduce the length of the line like this, so reduce both sides at the same time. Next is the text. We've already changed the typography for this first section, so we can just do the that for this one. So let's start with this subheading. I'm going to change it to restaurant tablet subheading. This is going to be restaurant tablet body, and finally we're going to change the text for this button to restaurant tablet button. So it really doesn't matter if we change the width of this, because it's not going to change the content. But let's just do that. The spacing, did I change the spacing for this one? Oh, spacing for this, or rather the gap, since it's a frame, it's going to be 15. This is also going to be 15. Let's move on to this one. I'm going to change this to restaurant tablet subheading. This is going to be restaurant tablet body, and this is going to be restaurant tablet button. And I'm going to reduce the width so it's on the middle 8 columns. I didn't change the gap. Let's go ahead and just change the gap to 15. Okay, this is the final one. We're going to change this to restaurant tablet subheading. Oh no, restaurant tablet subheading. This one is going to be restaurant tablet body, and then I'm going to select this, use enter, just click on enter twice so I can select the text. This is going to be restaurant tablet button. Let's change the gap to 15, and I'm going to reduce the width so it's on the middle 8 columns. Now let's space our elements out. This is going to be 50, so from that image to the first this first block of text is going to be 50. I'm going to zoom out, so select that text, the line, and as well as each section with the exception of the footer. We've not changed the footer section, no worries. Spacing is going to be 70. Let's grab a copy of the footer section from any of our tablet layouts, and I'm going to paste and replace, select the last section as well as the footer section, and the spacing is going to be 180. Now finally, let's reduce the height of this section, and here we go. This is our reservations page. Let's look at it. I don't think we looked at the gallery section. Okay, well, I think we did we? I can't remember. So this is the gallery. Let's look at the reservations. Notice the one for the desktop. So this is what the layouts, the reservations page look like in the tablet layout. I want to zoom in to see I'm not using an original, and I can go ahead and delete this. Now I'm going to move this over to the side here, and I can bring in the next page, which is the events page. So I can start working on this one. Let's start with this. I'm just going to select all of this and delete. I'm going to go over to any of our tablet layouts, and I'm going to copy the header section there and paste. Now I'm going to grab this image and bring in a copy, make sure it's aligned to the edge of my frame, and I'm going to reduce the width so it fits within. I just want to make sure, okay, so it fits within our frame, and select the header and the image, make the spacing 30, grab the text and bring it into this other one. Now let's change the typography of the text to restaurant tablet heading, and I'm going to align it to the middle of our frame as well as center of the image. Next is this text. I'm just going to grab the text and bring it into this frame. I'm going to select the text. Let's change the typography to restaurant tablet body, and for the button we're going to change it to restaurant tablet button. Okay, it's aligned for me on this side. You can just reduce the width of that frame so it's within the middle 8 columns like this, and then change the gap of the frame to 15. I'm going to zoom out, select this, delete, and now I'm going to grab this and bring a copy of this into this frame. Let's start with the subheading. Change the typography to tablet, restaurant tablet subheading, and we're going to have to, I'm going to move this to the edge so that I can reduce the image. I'm going to select just the image, reduce it so it's across the all columns of our layout guide. I'm going to move this text and align it to the center like this, and then for this let's change the typography of the text. I'm going to change this to restaurant tablet body, and I can just select this. This looks fine. Maybe we can, I wonder if there isn't much of a difference if I set the text to fill container. So whether or not you do that, it's fine. So I'm going to move this frame. I want the frame just like we had here. I want the frame to go across the middle 8 columns and be aligned to this text, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to do that, and yeah, then let's change the padding around the frame. Let's make it 50 by 50. So padding on the left and right will be 50, top and bottom will also be 50, and I'm going to align it to the middle of our image, and remember, this should go across each column, the middle 8 columns. I'm going to select this text and move the text instead of the image so that I can change the spacing to 15. So the spacing between this text and this image should be 15. Maybe we could just quickly look at it. So yeah, this is the that section done. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. I'm just going to zoom out. Let me just increase the height of our frame while I'm at it, and instead of moving everything down, there's no real reason to. I'm just going to delete, with the exception of this one. It makes pasting in my footer section much easier. I'm going to select this and then bring it into this frame. Make sure it's aligned to the left, so we're dealing with a group. I'm going to select this, change the typography to restaurant tablet subheading, and I'm going to align it to the center, to the center of our frame. Now select this image. I'm currently on the group. I'm going to select again till I select just the image, and I'm going to reduce it till it's on 4 columns. So I just want to make sure we have this on 4 columns. And I'm going to come over to this frame here. Let's change the text. So we're going to change this to restaurant tablets label, and I'm going to select this. And now this is way too how will I put it, it's way too long, wide for our frame, for our image. Let's change the height to 307, and I'm just going to align it to the center. So the distance from the edges of this frame to the edges of the image is 20. Let's also make the one at the bottom 20 as well. So for me, I just have to move it up 3 times using my arrow key, and this is what I have. We're going to leave the padding at 20 for left and right and top to bottom. I'm going to do the same with this. I'll move this image to this, so it's on the edge of that column, and then I'll reduce it till it's on 3 columns, and then align it. Select this frame. I'm going to change the typography of the text to restaurant tablet label, and width is 307, and I'm going to just move it around till it's aligned to the center as well as the other text. I'm going to do the same for this. Move the image, align it to the column, so it's on 4 columns, and I'm going to move this. Let's change the typography to restaurant tablets label, and width is 307, and I'm just going to align it like this. Finally, let's move this closer. The spacing should be 15. Okay, that's it for this one. Let's see what it looks like in the prototype. Hasn't loaded yet. Okay, that's it for this section. We can now move on to the next one. Next one is going to be pretty straightforward. I'm just going to grab this, bring it into this frame, and I'm going to start by just aligning at least one edge to the edge of this frame. So let me change the typography of this text. I'm going to change it to restaurant tablet subheading, and I'm going to align it to the middle of the frame. select the image next, and I'm going to reduce it till it's on the edge of the frame. And then I'm going to select this text, change the typography to restaurant tablet body. Now I'm just going to align things. So this I've already put in the middle. This I'm going to match it to this one, so middle 8. I'm going to align to the middle 8 columns. I'm going to bring this here, and then I'm going to reduce it like this. Now I can just select all 3. Spacing is 15, and that's it for that one. Let's now grab this one. I'm just going to bring in a copy of this. I'm just going to move this till it's on this edge. Let's start from top to bottom. I'm going to start with this subheading, and I'm going to change it to restaurant tablet subheading. Next is this image. We're going to do what we did in this section, and I believe the width for this was 307. Yeah, 307. So that's what we're going to go for. I'm going to select this 3, enter again so I can select the text, and I'll go over to typography and just change all of them to restaurant tablets label. Then I can focus on the images. I'll start with the first image, reduce it so it's on 4 columns, and I'm going to change the width to 307, and I'm going to I remember I made this no, just text. I intentionally make it fill container because of, I believe, this one, but I wonder if fill container will look better. Okay, so now we can change our text to fill container. I'm going to check 20 on all sides, just coincidentally. So 20 on the left and right, and from the bottom it should also be 20. I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm going to move it so that it's on the edge of this column, and then reduce it so it's on 4 columns. I'm going to move it so it's aligned to the other image. Then I'm going to change the width of this frame to 307, and I'll make the text fill container. Then I'm going to align this to the center of the image and the top of this frame here. Final image, I'm going to do the same, reduce it like this. I'm going to change the width to 307, and I'm going to change the text to fill container, and I'm going to align it to the middle of the image, to the center of the image, while also aligning it to this other frame. And I'm going to align this one to the middle, change the spacing between the text and the images to 15. Maybe we should just look at the other 2 sections we just finished, which is this and this one. Okay, so we can go back and finish up the rest. So let me move this up just a little bit. I'm going to grab this, bring it into this frame. I can just resize the entire thing. Hopefully I made it okay. It's a responsive layout, so that's fine. I'm just going to resize it. Let's now change the typography of our text. I'm going to start with the subheading and change that to restaurant tablet subheading, and then we're going to, I can just do all of them at once. I'm going to select all of this, and this is the restaurant tablet card, and this since it's restaurant desktop body is going to be restaurant tablets body. So I'm just going to go ahead and change it to restaurant tablets body. The gap between each card is going to remain the same since we are using 24 for both, but for this ones we're going to change it. We can just select all 4 individually, change the gap to 15, and okay, I've not changed the typography for this one. Let's change the typography to restaurant tablet body. Select the entire frame and we can change the gap altogether to 15. Let's do the final one before we bring in our footer section. I'm just going to align it to the middle. I'm going to select this text, change this to restaurant tablet subheading. This is going to be restaurant tablet body, and this final one, click enter twice or as many times as you need to select the text within the buttons. We can now change it to restaurant tablet button. The final detail will be changing the gap to 15. There's no need to change the spacing. This one we really didn't change anything. Everything is in one line, so no need to change that. Let's now go over to any of the previous layouts in the tablets, and I'm going to replace this in this frame. Now let's go back to the top and then fix our spacing. So this first one between the image and this text section is going to be 50, and I'm going to select every other thing. I'm going to select all of them, and spacing is going to be 180, and I can just reduce the height of the frame, and that is it for the event and private dining page. So let's see it in the prototype view. Let me scroll back to the top. It's going to load in a moment. Okay, so this is what the events page, let's just say events page, looks like, and we can move on to the final one, which is the contacts page. So I'm just going to select this one and delete. I'm just checking just to make sure I didn't delete the original. So I'm just going to move this out of the way, and then I'm going to grab the contact page, and I unintentionally did what I was not trying to do. I'm going to create a copy of it and bring it down here, and I can start working on this page. I'm going to start by selecting this entire top section, just removing it. Go to any of the tablet layouts, copy the header section, and then paste. Next, we're going to grab this image, grab a copy, and I'm going to bring it to the edge and reduce the dimension so that the width is exactly that of our frame. Select the header and the image, change the spacing to 30. I'm going to select this text, bring in a copy into this frame. Select the text, change the typography to restaurant tablets heading, and I'm going to align it to the middle and also the middle of the frame as well as center of the image. Next up is this text. You know what, I'm just going to delete all of that, and let's just move in all of the elements into the frame. So I'm just going to select all sections and also the lines into this. I'm trying to, maybe I'm better off just doing the alignment one by one. You know what? I'll just do it one by one. So let's start with the text. I'm going to select this text, change it to restaurant tablets body, and select this frame. Click on enter as many times as you need to and select all the text, and we're going to change the typography to restaurant tablet button. I'm going to select the entire frame, change the gap to 15, and our goal is to reduce it so it will be on the middle 8 columns, and that's what I'm going to do. Let me reduce it on the other side as well, and I'm just going to bring it upward. Next is this line. I'm going to align it to the center of the frame, and then click within the group and select just the line, Alt and Shift, reduce it so that it's on the edge of the second column, and the other side should also reduce as well. And that's it for that one. Next up is this. Let's start with this text. Go over to typography and change it to restaurant tablets subheading. This one is going to be body, so restaurant tablets body, no buttons here. So I can just, did I change the gap here? Okay, yes I did. I'm going to select this frame, change the gap to 15, and then let's reduce the frame, the width of the frame, so it's on the middle 8 columns. Just going to move it up a bit. Next is this line. I'm going to move it so that it's on the center of the frame. Then I'm going to go to this side, hold Alt and Shift so that we can reduce both ends of the line at the same time, while also making sure it stays straight. And that's it for that one. This is the final section. Select the subheading, change the typography to restaurant tablets subheading. We're going to select this section. It's going to be restaurant desktop body, and finally for this button, we're going to change it to restaurant tablet button. Now select the entire frame, change the gap to 15, and I'm going to move this to the center. I'm not going to reduce it. Okay, I will actually. So I was more focused on this one because I don't want to break them into multiple lines. So I'm just going to reduce the width so it's on the middle 8 columns. And final detail is the footer section, and I'm going to Ctrl Shift and R to paste and then replace. Let's go back to the top, select the image, and then this section spacing should be 50. I'll select this as well as the lines and other sections, with the exception of the footer section. Spacing is going to be 70. Select this final section, and the footer section spacing is going to be 180, and I can just go ahead and reduce the height of this frame till it fits. And that is the final page for our tablet layout. We can look at it in the prototype view just briefly. So this is what it looks like. Not that much difference between this one and the desktop. I think you'll see more differences. No, you will see more differences in the mobile. But anyway, that's it. I just want to check to make sure I want to look at the selection colors. So the background is all the background style. Anyway, that's it for this section of the course, which is the tablet layout. Next up, we're going to create the mobile layout for our websites.